Hello YouTube, Wes here, checking in with a video about music of 2016. Wanted to go ahead and film a video about the favorite albums I heard in 2016. If you follow along with my channel, you know I do buy a lot of new music, even though I can't hear everything possible. I do try to keep up with what's going on in music and try to listen to a lot of new things. And 2016 was a really great year for music, in my opinion. It was the past few years have been kind of ho-hum for me, but just 2016 just started off with a bang and just kept going and going and going throughout the year. And there was just a ton of great albums released in 2016. I don't know if it's all just the turmoil around the world is helping fuel that or not, but yeah, the music has been really great as of recent. So wanted to go ahead and make a video about some of my favorites of the year. I know you're probably tired of best ofs so far, but I wanted to wait a little while to let some of the late releases. There was stuff coming up in the second half of December that was still being released. Some great stuff. So I wanted to wait a little while before I did this video. So that's why it took me so long to get to it. But in case you wanted to see some more best of, maybe check this video out. I decided to go ahead and make a top 10 of 2016 of what I decided to make this year, but I also wanted to talk about a few runner-ups. There was just, as I said, there were so many great albums released this past year that I couldn't just narrow it down to 10. So I have 6 runner-ups here. Just quickly go over something I think is definitely very good, definitely worth checking out. First album I have in a runner-up position is Juliana Barwick with Will. Juliana Barwick is a very much an experimental pop kind of music. She does a lot of vocal manipulations and voices, and it's not something where she's using her voice more as an instrument rather than a method to get across lyrics. Even though there are lyrics, it's more of in an instrumental way. Really interesting music, really soothing, really chill, interesting stuff. So yeah, Juliana Barwick's Will, definitely cool if you're into sort of that Bon Iver sort of psychedelia, manipulation, tape manipulations, loops, vocal loops kind of thing. Check her out. The second in the runner-up group I have here is Flume with his album Skin. Flume is a modern DJ, producer kind of person, does electronic dance music kind of stuff, works with a lot of different artists, works with some hip-hop artists, works with some pop artists, worked with Beck on a song, I think. Really cool, just sort of electronic dance album. I really like the theme of the album. I think it flows really well. Some really interesting soundscapes he creates, but still in that dance sort of realm. Very rhythmic, very beat driven, but some really interesting songs, interesting tracks. So that is Flume. That is Skin by Flume. I believe he's New Zealander. Interesting artist. Next up, staying in sort of a genre of electronica, but moving into more of an ambient electronica sound, is Etal Tech with the album Hollowed. Very spacey, ambient electronic kind of music. Very sort of sparse at times, very lush. Really cool, just ambient electronic kind of stuff, and I really dug that album. Next thing, moving into more of a pop sort of realm, we have the album Clever Disguise, or actually I believe it's an EP by the artist Gordy. I believe she has a full-length LP coming out very soon now, if it's not already out. But yeah, very much a pop artist of the time. She does some just very sparse sort of acoustic guitar type pop music, along with some more produced kind of pop songs with electronic production and stuff. And she does some really interesting songs. I really enjoyed this EP from her, and I look forward to hearing more music from her. Next runner-up is the album RR 7439 by the Texas group Survive. Again, electronica, it's kind of a theme I've been on recently. I've been really digging the electronic kind of stuff, or anything that incorporates electronic music in it. It sort of has an 80s synth sound to it, but it's also modern sounding, if that makes any sense. It's sort of more modern electronic music made with 80s synthesizer type sounds. Can be very sort of beepy and boppy and kind of, you know, very, very synthetic kind of sounds, but really interesting, and really dug the album from them. Dug their soundtrack work on the Stranger Things TV show from Netflix, and yeah, just really dug their album, and definitely check them out if you haven't already. But they've been a pretty big hit this year, so I think most people have checked them out. And the last one on the runners-up list I have is the album Being No One Going Nowhere by the band Starfucker. Again, in that sort of electronica sort of realm, but mixing electronica with sort of pop and indie rock kind of sounds. A really great album through and through. It flows really well, has a really nice cohesive feel to it, kind of a theme running through it. Really nice musically. Really enjoyed that album quite a bit. So those were my runners up. Let's go ahead and get into the top 10. The runners up were in kind of no particular order, but the top 10 is the top 10. So coming in at number 10 on my best of 2016 list is a country album, which is a surprise to me. I don't listen to a lot of country music. But that is the album by Sturgill Simpson, A Sailor's Guide to Earth. Excellent album. Really great sort of thematic kind of album. Really nice production, really nice songwriting. Definitely dig what he's doing, and really enjoyed this album quite a bit. Yeah, Sturgill Simpson. I really liked the opening track, Welcome to Earth, I think is what it's called. But just from the start to finish, it's a great album through and through, and I really enjoyed it. Definitely something that sort of revisited multiple times throughout the year. And yeah, so Sturgill Simpson, Sailor's Guide to Earth, coming in at number 10. Okay, coming in at number 9, another surprise to me, an album from a band I didn't think we were even going to see another album from. And definitely not something I would think would end up on my best of list, but that is the Prelude Implicit by Kansas, the classic prog rock band Kansas. They're back with a vengeance. They really had a really strong album with Prelude Implicit. Really great songwriting, really great message, really great playing. Just sounds great. I really love where they're at right now. I'm really digging all the songs, particularly like the song Refugee off that album, but it's a great album through and through. Again, excellent playing. If you like Kansas of the past, you will definitely dig this album. It's great, and I'm really happy to have this on my list. I'm really happy that they're back and they're doing great things. So Kansas, the Prelude Implicit, coming in at number 9. Okay, coming in at number 8, we have a hip-hop album. That is the album Ritualize by Lush Life and Casual Sex. Really great album through and through. I really liked what they're doing. It has a very sort of new kind of sound for hip-hop, but still, you know, classic witty hip-hop. Really great lyrically, really well thought out lyrics, really interesting lyrics, and the instrumental music behind it is also very interesting, very different, not typical hip hop kind of stuff. I really dug this album quite a bit. It's something I revisited a lot. Yeah, just really dug the album through and through, and it's a fun album. Again, reminds me of the early days of me discovering hip hop, and this is sort of something new that I discovered this year, and I really dug it a lot. Okay, coming in at number 7, another hip-hop album, one that I didn't hear much about this year. I'm kind of surprised. I don't know what happened. Just sort of started off hearing a little bit about this album, and then it just sort of faded away. And that is I believe the second album by Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, titled This Unruly Mess I've Made. Really another great hip hop album, I would say. It deals with a lot of different topics. Some of the songs are political, some of the songs are more fun and upbeat, kind of like the first album. Just a great album through and through, and I really dug listening to this. It's something that stuck around for me, something that I listened to a lot, something that I revisited a lot. Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, This Unruly Mess I've Made, coming in at number 7 for me. Liked it quite a bit. I'm surprised it didn't do better, but for me it was a top 10 album this year. Okay, coming in at number 6, something a little bit different. We lost quite a few musical artists this year. It's just that time when these artists from the 60s and the 70s, they're getting old, and they're starting to move on and pass away. It's unfortunate, but it's something that's going to be happening on a regular basis moving forward. But we lost Leonard Cohen last year, 2016, but before he left us a great goodbye album. Not the only goodbye album of the year, but yeah, just a killer goodbye album by Leonard Cohen. It's titled You Want It Darker. Again, just an album that's very tough to listen to. It's an album that's dealing with death and realizing that you're at the end of your life, and realizing that there's nothing you can do, and sort of looking back at your life and thinking about what you've done and who you've loved and who you've wronged, and all kinds of things, and what you could have done better, and what you did great. And it's a very reflective, very emotional, very deep album, and I was blown away by it. It's a great album, and so that's number 6 with Leonard Cohen, You Want It Darker. Here we are in number 5, top 5 now. This is a soul album. Charles Bradley with Changes, his 3rd album. Excellent soul album. Again, it's been a rough year. A lot of times you just want to sulk and feel down, and nothing's better than a great soul album to do that with, and this is one I definitely visited quite a bit this year. Just another excellent album by Charles Bradley. A very strong album. This is another one I'm surprised didn't do better than it did. Very, very soulful, very emotional, something that when you're feeling down just hits you and it just brings you to tears. I definitely cried a lot with this album. It's a very soulful, very meaningful album, and got the chance to see Charles Bradley live this year. It was an incredible experience, and I was glad to have this album with me this year. And that's number 5 with Charles Bradley with his album Changes. Okay, in at number 4 for this 2016 top 10 list is another hip hop album, and that is another great return. It's the newest album by A Tribe Called Quest, titled Thank You, We've Got It From Here. Or I believe it's Thank You for Your Service, We've Got It From Here. Yeah, just a great return for them. Great lyrics, great beats, great production. Again, very political. I like that in my music. I like that in my hip hop. That's what drew me to hip hop to begin with, was the politics. And I really dug that, and I really enjoyed this album quite a bit. And yeah, it's been a great album. It's something that's came out at the end of the year, so I'm still exploring it, but I have had a good bit of time with it, and quite a few listens of it. And yeah, it's definitely a great album, and that's why it's number 4 on my list this year. All right, here we are in the top 3. Coming in at number 3 is the album The Wilderness by Explosions in the Sky. Just an amazing instrumental album. Very much of a sort of sparse, spacey kind of instrumental album. Definitely one of those sort of albums that just sort of gets you thinking and takes you on a journey. Really love this album quite a bit. It's something I used a lot. I love to use music as sort of a relaxation, kind of meditation almost kind of thing, and love instrumental kinds of music, and that's why this album is in my top 10. This is why it's a great album for me, because it takes you on a great journey, and I really enjoyed the lushness of the production on this, and and the sparseness, and just sort of the journey it takes you on. It says very spacey and ambient kind of instrumental album from them. So that's Explosions in the Sky with Wilderness, coming in at number 3. Okay, down to the last two. Coming in at number 2, probably no surprise to many of you, but this is Radiohead's A Moon-Shaped Pool. Definitely an awesome album this year. Got me reinterested in Radiohead. I've been sort of a mild Radiohead fan in the past. Had their music on CD, but never really listened to them on vinyl. And picked this latest album from them up on vinyl this year, and just really fell in love with it. Again, kind of a very spacey, very emotional, kind of ambient kind of sound at points, but it also takes you on a journey. It's one of those albums that's best experienced as a whole album, which I really love, and it definitely took you on a journey and took you places, and I really enjoyed the album from Radiohead and got me reinvigorated in their music. And coming in at number 1 for me, no surprise to many people, another Goodbye album, an artist we lost just over a year ago now, and that's David Bowie's Black Star. Again, another album dealing with death and coming to realize you're at the end of your life, and sort of reflecting back on your life and dealing with those sort of things. And it's just a very emotional album, a very deep album, very rich album. And I just really enjoyed listening to this album throughout the year. And it's a tough listen still, but it's just so good and so rich, and I loved it. So thanks for watching my best of 2016 video. I hope you enjoyed it. I have created a Spotify playlist with one track from each of these albums that I'll post a link to down below in case you just want to put that on and sort of have it on the background, and maybe some of this stuff that you haven't heard will catch your ear. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thank you for all of you who are subscribed already. Thank you for staying tuned in. Thank you for all the comments and the thumbs up and the likes and all that kind of stuff. I really appreciate it. So thanks for watching. Have a great day, great night, whenever it is you're watching this. Look forward to a great 2017, and we'll see you again real soon. Cheers.